Flipping heck, there's more faces. Right, PJ, is it PJ?
Yeah. How's it going?
We haven't really met, mate.
No.
Right, how old are you? You look about 15.
Yeah, I'm only 19.
Flipping heck, eh? Hey, when I roll lad. Right, obviously you're over here in the British Championship with Taiko Suzuki. You're based here in Cookstown?
Yeah, I'm just basically living right down the street, so.
Yeah, perfect. A little bit. And where are you based back home?
I'm based in New York State.
So a little bit different. Just a bit. Okay, so for this year in the BSB series, obviously circuits tracks quite different to probably what you're used to. You know, there's some kind of, I wouldn't call them Mickey Mouse, but quite tight, short. Take a little bit of getting used to. How are you finding kind of the crossover and getting used to the UK tracks?
Yeah, it's totally different, you know, like back home and stuff, they're all nice, fast flowing tracks, not going up and down and all this crazy stuff, blind corners, hitting jumps, and it's absolutely mental over here, but I actually like it. So yeah, it's way different, so hopefully I'm just learning the track step by step and trying to learn how to ride this superbike better.
Obviously, you know, your teammate is very experienced now on the UK circuit. It's been, I think he's been over it since 2009. You know, does he help you out at all in that way?
Yeah, at the tracks and stuff, we share our data and stuff like that. I ask him for a few pointers and questions. Like I said, he's been here for a few years now, so he basically knows the way around the tracks and every single. So, I mean, yeah, just getting information and keep going, and yeah, it's good.
And are you getting out to most tracks just on track days or anything before you actually get there, just to try and find out where you're going?
Yeah, you know, just some tracks I just have to show up and stuff, and we get 4 sessions to do it, so there's enough track time, but at the end of the weekend, come Sunday, the second race, I think I'm in a lot better position than the first race, so yeah, we'll try to get to like a track day like Cadwell Park and stuff, because I definitely think I need to go there with the big jump and everything, and how small of a track it is width-wise, so yeah, just keep it going.
Doesn't mean 19. It's not right, is it? Obviously, well, not obviously, but I had some questions to some guys last week. But who's your kind of hero in racing? You know, it's obviously different, probably quite different to my heroes from my time. But who was you looking up to as a youngster, or even younger you are now, when you was kind of looking at racing?
You know, I think John Hopkins deserves a lot of respect. He's been one of my heroes since I was little, so he got thrown in with the big boys when he was about 17 years old on a 500 Grand Prix bike. So yeah, if anybody is my heroes, it's definitely him. Yeah, he's knows how to ride a bike, knows how to slide it, and yeah.
Yeah, mate, he was over at the TT doing the parade lap, you know, and I met him there, and he's kind of. Obviously, he's had his fair share of bangs and problems in the last year or so, but I think the TT certainly opened his eyes. Did you get over there this year?
Yeah, I was over at the TT with all the Taiko Suzuki boys, just cheering on Guy and Josh, and seeing what the whole Isle of Man TT was about. It's a really cool experience, so I think I'll be going back there for a lifetime.
Cool, thanks, mate. Keith. Obviously, a lot of success last year. Swap chairs, mate. Make it easier. A lot of success last year. You got a steep learning curve. Obviously, this year riding a superbike. In your own mind, how's it going so far?
Yeah, it's not going completely to ideal, but you know, we're learning as we go on. The first few rounds, you know, it's I was just following Shaky, and you know, he's been a big help to me, but. It was the worst thing for me, to be honest, because once you do a qualifying lap, you can do it for 1, but they're going out doing it for 25, 30 laps, and once you know you follow them for the race, it's demoralising to see them just walk away from you. So the last round would change things. You know, we're in our own bike, we've done everything our own way, and it was the best rounds, you know, so far, so it was good.
Is it better following Shaky or following Petra? What's the favourite?
Yeah, well, I'll not say that out loud, but Yeah, Catherine wasn't well there, so she's a lot better now, thankfully.
Yeah, I heard she had some issues, and like you say, getting well, so perfect. Obviously, you're obviously a quality rider. What's the biggest difference stepping up onto the superbike, do you think?
Absolutely everything. There's not one thing, similar really. The tyres was the hardest thing. As me and PJ were talking this morning, and about just saying that the Perettes, the Metzlers last year, had movement and a lot of feel with them, whereas the Pirellis is sort of just knowing how hard to push and finding your limits. And unfortunately, I found the limits, a lot this year. It's been pretty sore on me, but we're getting there every time.
Obviously, being an Irishman, why aren't you doing the road races?
I just, never had the interest. I respect the guys that do it, but ever since my cousin Mark was killed at Isle of Man, it's just been a no-no for me. And only been in short circuit racing, it's 3 years. With being motocross and supermoto, I've just never had the time or never really, had the interest or anyone following road racing. So that's why I've never been.
Yeah, no, I was only joking with that. Obviously you've got to want to do it. You've got to want to do it anyway to be successful for sure and to keep yourself safe. But you come from a little bit of a different background, obviously, like you said, with the motocross and the supermoto, which I would guess would help out to a certain degree.
Yeah, it's good, because like even last year, me and PJ had a couple of battles, and people sort of wondered, how I got away with not crashing a lot of the time, but it was just because the super motorbike, you slide it in, you slide it out, and you just get used to the bike moving, underneath you, and that's sort of the way that I, rid the starter. But this year, you have to be have a bit more finesse with you on the super bike, so that's why I've had a lot more crashes than expected.
Do you know how many crashes you had so far in your career?
I've lost count. In 2011, when the proper first time riding a super short circuit bike, it was bad. It was bad. It was like, it wasn't 1 or 2 crashes a weekend. It was bad. It's getting a bit better, but last year, we sort of, when we had a crash, then we didn't have a crash for 3 rounds, but every crash we had, it was big. It was just like a brand new bike being rebuilt, and Birdie didn't take that too well. But this year he sort of came around it. He said to me at the start of the year, I'm actually coming around to people crashing. He says it's just the nature of racing. And I was like, well, everyone's got to find their limits, and if you don't crash, you're not trying hard enough. So I'm obviously trying hard enough.
And how is Birdie? Or should I say, how is working for Birdie?
Do you want the truth about that, or do you want me to blow my
Only the truth.
No, it's hard to say. Me and him, we got on really well. We trained at the start of the year for a long time together, and then he just went back to his old ways. And from Oulton Park, I never spoke to him until he got back from Barbados the week before Knockhill, and then he flew to the Isle of Man, and I haven't spoken to him since. So it's easier just not speaking to him, to be honest.
Thanks for your honesty.
That's the truth, I'll be over there during the week, like I flew back last night, I fly back on Sunday evening, and he has me, he pays me in that, personal training and everything and that, but I just stay out of his way, if I'm in the workshop or anything working and I hear him coming, I just go to the toilet.
And is Shaky the blue-eyed boy?
Yeah, he is. No matter what he wants, he gets. Fair play to him. He does the job of the weekend. When he's meant to. And, he's had so many wins this year already, and it's easier for him because he's never at the workshop. And he only sees Birdie, during the weekend, and he just goes, hides in his camper, and has sleeps and does. He comes out and he just wins. And that's what he needs to do, and that's why Birdie appreciates him so much. So I just need to learn from him.
And as far as the other side of the workshop's concerned, what about the GP project? How's that kind of going?
Yeah, well, BSB's actually, we're the blue-eyed boys at the minute because we're doing well. You know, we're not costing them so much money, and GP is, it's hard to say, you know, it's one of the bikes is brand new, but they're spending a lot of money. You know what I mean? But, you know, fair play to Michael, he's riding really, really well this year. You know, for a brand new bike, you know, new people brought in, new team. And you know, I respect him. They're doing really well, and hopefully, you know, he's having a lot of meetings and that with Honda, Yamaha for a new engine next year. So hopefully, he'll go a lot better.
Yeah, I think, you know, he's riding exceptionally well, really, because he's obviously on the back foot to begin with of what he's actually riding, and doing a fantastic job, and not just in his riding, but to keep motivated, as you're well aware of, you know, to keep pushing hard and doing what he's doing. The question I meant was, how's Birdie coping with, you know, the guys riding around the weather and getting the results they're getting?
Yeah, like he hadn't went the last GP. He hadn't been involved, and you know, he was a bit annoyed. And now, since you know they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're not up where he wants them to be. And now, like after a Snetterton test, we had to, like the whole BSB team has gone over. And the MotoGP are getting it in the ear now, saying, "Oh, look at my BSB team! You know, they're winning all the time. They're doing this and that and the other." So now, whereas last year it was like my GP team, but now it's turning the tables. So thankfully, I don't get it really that much anymore.
I'm not painting a bad picture of Birdie. Obviously, you know, he's I don't really. We speak. I've never ridden for him. But he's not my favourite person. I don't mean that in a horrible way, but obviously. But one thing I will say is, he puts his hand in his pocket, he digs deep, and he puts on a good show for everybody involved, for all you guys, and you know, for over many years. So, you know, fair play to him. But no, well, obviously, in the future, what's your plans?
I don't know. You know, I've heard many reports, you know, that Birdie's apparently, you know, only doing MotoGP next year, and you know, it's hard to know. He said that last year too, didn't he? Though, you know, and halfway through the year he told me, you know, "Oh, I'm not going to do BSB next year, so you're going to have to sort of fend for yourself." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And then he turned around last minute, and he, you know, he gave me a BSB ride. So I can't fault him. You know, I appreciate everything he's done for me, but it's, you know, I've had a few doors openings already, you know, and I've been speaking to a few people, but you never know what's going to happen. And you know, he says, "Oh, I'll look after you next year, you know, and put you into a team." So you never know what Birdie, you know, he changes his mind with the wind. So you know, you can't predict what he's going to do.
Is everybody in the team scared of him?
Oh, he's, like, everyone's having a laugh. Not till Birdie wasn't there. Everyone was so chilled out. It was a completely different team. Everything got on. And as soon as Birdie comes around, like, everyone tail between the legs. It's, you know, and I think like me and Birdie sort of not fell out as such. I can't say that because we're still speaking all the rest, but it's because, you know, I'm not changed for him. You know, I am who I am. I'm not going to change for no one. And if he tells me to do something I don't want to do, well, I'll tell him I don't want to do it. You know, and that's just me. And I think that's why we've had our differences, because he'll not control me the way he controls everyone else. And that's the only difference in him.
Fair play.